Hey guys, so I was thinking about maybe having a script for this video, but I ultimately decided that no, I'm not gonna have a script for this video because I want it to come straight from me. Yeah. If you don't want to stay for the whole video because I know it's pretty long, then here's the little like here's a little part of it. Basically, I'm all for Black Lives Matter. I am against All Lives Matter. I am pro-choice, and I have experienced racism and equal rights. So basically, I'm going to be talking about my experiences with racism and why I stand for a couple of things. I'm sorry if I get tongue-tied in this video. Yeah. So, racism is discrimination from one race to another, mostly because of the color of their skin and stereotypes. And I have been through that. Now, if you don't know, I am a white Hispanic Latino, whatever you want. So I am more privileged than Black Latinas or Latinos and Black Hispanics in general. So in that sense, I am more privileged, but the color of my skin is more tan, so little boys mostly, it's always little boys for some reason, think that I could, I don't know, sometimes they say I'm from the Middle East and stuff, and there's nothing wrong with being from the Middle East, but it's sad, and it makes you feel bad if someone, is oh, you're from this place, when really you're not, and it's a whole nother race, and you're not even, you're not that race, you know? So, obviously, I've been through racism. I don't know if you would call it, ethnicism. I don't know if that's even a term, because Hispanic is an ethnicity, not a race. But I'm just gonna call it racism because it's a lot easier, and we do experience a lot of horrible, horrible things because of who we are and the color of our skin and stuff. And a lot of people have it way worse, especially people who, you know, are denied like to immigrate, and that's terrible. And then because people are meant to be illegal, yeah. I actually haven't done a lot of research on illegal immigration, so I'm not going to be talking a lot about it, because obviously I don't have an experience with it and I don't know much about it. Um, yeah. Also, what you're seeing on screen is a speed paint of an OC I made. She is POC, and I love her, and I really like drawing and painting dark skinned people because I find it really dark skinned girls and dark skinned guys are so pretty. I just find them really, really pretty. And same with light skins and mid skins. I love everybody basically. I don't have favoritism because of the color of people's skin. I just really like drawing people with darker skin color. I don't know. I don't really know why. Also, I don't understand how white people, including other white people, I don't understand how other white people can you know, say that white is a superior race when it's literally a genetic defect. White people, including me, we're not meant to be here. We were all meant to be dark skins because we all originated in Africa. So, I don't really understand that. But back to some serious stuff. I am going to be adding a little bit of comedy here and then because I don't want this video to get too dark. But obviously, I'm not going to be scooting away from the actual theme because I find that really hurtful. So, please, please, please sign petitions, donate if you have the financial stability for that, or if your parents let you. Right now, I'm not in the situation to donate, but as soon as I can, I will. Yeah. Also, please, please, please go to protests. if there's any in your area. There was one in my area, I think, but there's not, and I wasn't able to go to it because I wasn't informed on this, like, that there was a protest. But as soon as there is another one, I plan to go. So, yeah. So, let's talk more in depth about racism and police brutality. Up to a while ago, I think, maybe it was yesterday, maybe it was before yesterday, I wanted to be part of the NYPD. Now I realize that that was a stupid ass choice. I'm sorry if I cuss a lot on this video, but I'm not gonna censor it on this video. I would censor it on other videos, however. I find it a stupid ass choice that I wanted to join the NYPD. So if you do want to join like police stuff and federal stuff, please join things like the FBI and stuff. Obviously it's not the same, but the FBI are so much better with these things, and the NYPD will mark certain things as police brutality, and it will mark certain things as sexual harassment. So please, if you want to join, or if you want to report a case, report it to the FBI and things like that, and not like your local, not the NYPD basically. If you live in New York, please, just like not the NYPD, give it to like the FBI or something. Like, don't report it to the NYPD. Long story short. Now, I'm not very informed on the cases of every black person that got killed because, they were black by police officers. I'm not 100% educated, but I do know certain things, so I'm just gonna put it out there. Arrest the killers of Breonna Taylor. She was asleep. She didn't do anything wrong. Yes, her boyfriend shot, but she didn't have control over him. She was like, pretty sure she was asleep or something. The police like came in and killed her for no apparent reason that I know of. Feel free to tell me if I'm wrong down in the comment section, but please don't make a fight, because I don't want this whole racist fight down in my comments, and if I do see a racist comment, I will block you and erase that comment if possible. Now, obviously, George Floyd did not deserve it. He seemed like a wonderful man who had a wonderful family, and he got killed because they thought it was a fake check, and they had a bias against black people, because that's how the government is and has been since the beginning of time. Even though the white people invaded America and like killed basically people because of the diseases they brought from Europe. And as a European, I'm saying this, that I hate that we did that. I hate that that's part of our history. Discovering America, oh yeah, that's so fun. Christopher Columbus discovered America and sent tons and tons of diseases to kill the locals. But they still exist. And that's the part that makes me happy. Natives of countries still exist. Pacific Islanders still exist, even though there has been so many shitstorms going around with like islands and all that, and there's been like tons of atrocious stuff. But the funny part is that we all still exist, and that's good, because if it was only white and black and white, there was no Asians, there was no Pacific Islanders, there was nothing, no one else, it was just black and white, the world could be so much more corrupt, because there are good white people, but it would turn so quickly because of the lack of any other race. It would either make us closer or more far apart, and it's scary to think about that. I'm just putting it out there that no one deserves to die because of another person. Like, no one deserves to be murdered. Everyone should just die of natural causes. I don't want anybody to be murdered. And if you are a bad, corrupt person in a big position, such as president position or anything like that, I don't think you deserve to be killed. However, I do think you deserve to be booted off, especially if you have been, like, there are allegations of you sexually harassing people, then you should be in jail. But of course, you can't, because you're a straight, white, cisgender man. And that's how it's been since the beginning of time. The ruling race has always been straight, white, cisgender people. I am saying straight, white, cisgender people because transgender people can be straight, white, can be straight, white, and male. But they are still harassed because they were born the opposite sex. And please, 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 if you see anyone in the comment section that's, transgender or non-binary or pangender or gender fluid, please use the correct pronouns. Also, I haven't addressed this before, I don't think, but my pronouns are she, her. So I think I have my pronouns on my Twitter, but I don't think I have them on my YouTube. So, yeah. If you see anyone struggling with their sexuality, please don't say things like it's just a phase, because it's really not. It could be. But please don't say that, because it belittles the person. And yeah, it could be a phase. But in the case that it's not a phase, then that's terrible. And why would you say that? Like, the person might actually be, like, discovering their sexuality there, and you're like, oh, it's just a phase. And then the person, like, doesn't feel content anymore. They feel sad. They feel alone. Anyway, back to where I was saying about straight, white, cisgender males. Straight, white, cisgender men. What is up with them, Obviously not all of them, but some of them thinking they're better than everybody just because of the politics that have been going on, and the favoritism and the racism and basically everything. And some white people still think they can get racism, and they think reverse racism exists, but it doesn't really. Like, I get how if somebody says all white people are racist, that can offend you if you yourself are white and you're not racist. But please don't say that reverse racism exists, because it's always been favoritism to white people. Even white women who get harassed, even them, they've always been more favored than black women or Asian women or Hispanic women or Pacific Islander women or Native women. This is actually a hard video for me to do because I have experiences with racism, but actually it's more hard to just believe these things are happening right now. I don't understand how someone that says that he is, he would make America great again. By the way, I don't live in America, I live in the UK. But I don't understand how somebody who said, I will make America great again, made it worse. And people are still trusting in him. Like, I don't think anyone else would have made this. That is why you should... I'm not completely informed on the situation, but I think she is running for president, or at least Senate, in 2024. So please do vote for AOC. If you can vote. I think she is running for that. So hopefully America gets a better leader, or just a better person in charge of certain things. Yeah. I want to talk especially about racism in this video because it is called racism. However, I can't help but talk about gender favoritism, basically, especially to males, and how women are stereotypes and I know I'm gonna sound like crazy for saying this. I might sound crazy. People might be like, oh, she's crazy. But gender is basically a social construct. Like, gender, like, there was tribes, like, before white people invaded, there was tribes all around the world which had, like, you know, they had more than one gender, and there was a lot, like, it was beautiful, and then white people just kind of screwed it over. It still exists. I think there are people still from that tribe. I don't know what it's called, though. But yeah. Also, sorry for that. Also, if you are religious, like me, I am religious, I am Catholic. Also, if you are religious and you say that, you know, and you're openly racist, then I want you to think about what the phrase love your neighbor, like, as I have loved you, means. Because you're obviously not doing that. And I don't want to sound rude, obviously, because I don't like sounding rude and being rude. But if you are discriminating against people because of the way they are and the way they look, then please look at yourself in the mirror and think of all the bad things you've ever done, including that, and all the bad things you've done and all the bad things you are, all your bad emotions, and why you're discriminating, whether it's because of the social system or whether it's, you know, some deep-boiled hate about yourself. Don't discriminate against anybody, um, because discrimination is, oh, it's literally discriminating against people who, discrimination is being mean and excluding and killing people, because of the way they are. However, if you are, you know, I'm not gonna say the word because it brings me absolute hate once I say it. Not because I've been through it, because I haven't, but because it's a thing. Just because it's a thing, it makes my blood boil. I'll put it on screen. But basically, those people, and also people who sexually harass other people, that is not the way you are. That is the way you chose to be. That is the way you decided to act. You can be better, however. I am not saying that you can. I'm not saying that you can't. You really can. You can improve and you can just become a better person. And I really hope everybody, like, does become a better person. Now I'm going to talk about things that ultimately actually make me really happy, which is, believe it or not, the, you know, peaceful protests, which have ultimately turned into horrible, horrible, horrible riots because of the police. But that's not my favorite part, because that's bad. You know, I don't like how they've become, like, terrible things. My favorite part is that people are openly, like, hating the police. That's my favorite part. People are throwing, okay, the police are throwing, like, grenade bomb thingies. Obviously not, like, grenades, but, like, with tear gas stuff to us, and then people are like throwing it back, throwing the tear gas grenade thingy back. And that brings me joy because most of us are Gen Z. Well, not most of us, but most of us who are going to the protest are Gen Z. Some of us are millennials, but most of us, I'd say, are Gen Z. And we're ultimately the most powerful generation. We have so much power. We made the president cry, and we, you know, booked tickets and then didn't go. Like, we are that generation who will end racism and police brutality because we will ultimately defund the police. Also, I live for the day that someone in Gen Z is president, or millennial, and is president, and then just flips the system on its head, and then everything is as it's meant to be. I live for that day. Sorry if I sound emotional in this video. Racism usually makes my blood boil and makes me like really upset, as it should. You know, it's racism. It's not a good thing, but yeah. So I'm just gonna make this clear. Black lives do matter, and when I say that, it doesn't mean that not every other life doesn't matter. Like when I say save the turtles, it doesn't mean screw every other animal on earth that isn't a turtle. It means save the turtles because they're in danger. So why don't you understand what Black Lives Matter means? It means save the Black lives, help the Black lives. The Black lives matter, recognize that they matter because they're in danger because of the police. And it's always the police, it's always the people in power who do these things, who actively rebel against these things. And I find that very horrible. Please do tell me how you are able to support something, All Lives Matter, how you are able to support something that was ultimately made to silence Black Lives Matter. Because if you didn't know, All Lives Matter was meant to silence Black Lives Matter, but we're not being silenced so easily because we're not done. We're not done, and we'll never be done because of what you keep doing to us. Also, I'm using us as like every race and every ethnicity who has ever been discriminated against. Also, here's a quick thing. If someone calls you a basic white girl and you're white because you like Starbucks and stuff, that's not racism. That's not racism. That's a stereotype, but that's not racism. They're not discriminating against you like you are to us. And them. Specifically them. Okay. So, this video is coming to an end, kind of. So, Black Lives Matter, ACAB. ACAB means, ACAB basically means that all cops are bastards. And it doesn't mean that all cops are bastards, because there are good cops on the force. It just means that the position of a cop is so involved with racism and favoritism, that it's a bastard position to be in. So ACAB, and Black Lives Matter, and say their names, and I am so sorry if you or anyone else has ever been, I'm so sorry if anyone in your family has ever been, hurt or killed because of your skin color. Because that is ultimately, the worst thing a person could do. I'm sorry if I'm getting tongue-tied. It really happens when I am, fighting for somebody or fighting for a cause. Because Black Lives Matter, and I want everyone to know that. Black Lives Matter. It doesn't mean that any other life doesn't matter. It just means that Black Lives Matter too, because the government hasn't been recognizing that for very, very long. So, long story short, I have a couple of experiences with racism, but I have not had it as bad as other people have had it, and I am so, so lucky to be so privileged. And if you are privileged in the sense that you're white and you've never been through any of this, even if you're white Hispanic like me, you've never been through any of this, you are so incredibly privileged. You need to acknowledge that. I know sometimes it goes over our head, how it happens. We're all human, but that shouldn't matter. It shouldn't, matter. that we don't acknowledge it sometimes, because at the end of the day, we need to acknowledge it when it's most important, which is right now. That's why we need to rebel against the government, and we need to rebel against this. So please sign petitions, donate if you're in the financial stability for that. Go to protests, say their names, post more stuff about this, whether it's on TikTok, on Instagram, on YouTube, on Twitter, on Tumblr. We can make a change. We're all in this together. Enough is enough.